This is Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast.
Did you guys see this? This is unbelievable. What is that all about, Kinger?
Get in here for the real thing. Like, let's get weird.
Maybe I blacked out trying to figure out what was going on.
Doubt, worry, fear, because that's what we're breaking the mold on here.
Welcome to Wild on 7th, presented by Pilot Games. We're here until it's here.
And welcome back to Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast. As always, we're presented by our friends at Pilot Games. Make sure when you're out, happy hour before you get to the game, or maybe while your kids are at tryouts. Right now it is tryout season. Now we'll get into that with you a little bit, bearing the lead. But grab one of their tablets, play their games, because when you do, not only can you win, your community wins too. Great supporters of youth programs and youth athletics around the state. So Pilot Games, appreciate them, their support. Use their stuff. Bringing in our guest here in the middle, without further ado, here's Al Stalock. Al, now, you've got a lot of irons in the fire these days. You're broadcasting the game last night against Chicago. You're running tryouts someplace. I think you're a rancher now, too, if I'm not mistaken. So thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit with Kinger and I.
Yeah, I'm officially a farmer, and I don't know if I am. My wife is more so than me.
Got into livestock.
Yeah, the yard bird. I don't know if chickens are livestock. I don't know what they're considered.
I think they're fowl.
Waterfowl. They hate water though.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just fowl. They are fowl.
They're fowl.
Fowl in many ways, as far as where they use
Maybe
the bathroom
fauna?
on our front
Are
doorstep.
they fauna? Is that a bird?
But yeah, tryouts. It's tryout season in youth hockey around the state, and I jumped in to help association this year, and we're just wrapping up with our Bantam group, and now we're moving into our squirt group. So I had to run up to the rink yesterday to get our evaluation sheets to our evaluators and make sure everybody was in good standing before I took off and headed down to the EGGcelent and get prepped for game number one.
What does that mean? Make sure everyone was in good standing.
So you each
Because
day,
I know what hockey tryouts are like.
Dude, it's like, you ever hear, like, people say, like, Mercury's in retrograde,
Yeah.
or, like, it's a full moon, or just for some reason people are getting squirrely and they try to find some scientific reason. Hockey tryouts are that. You can tell. You can tell when they're coming up, too, because people start to get a little squirrely. You're like, is Mercury in retrograde? Is it a full moon, or is it hockey season?
And it's a grind. I mean, you got evaluators. It's like 9 days of tryouts, which some of those days are 3-hour shifts, with 4 hours with the first day with goalie sessions. And so these guys are putting in a lot of hours, and you're moving numbers around. They're switching colors around. So every day you're getting a new group. So it's coming up with these Excel spreadsheets, which now when you're applying to be a board member at an association, it doesn't say exactly, what you'll be doing, your job title, So Excel guru wasn't on there. And I am not an Excel guru when it comes to numbers. And I watch people fly through this thing with like just the key buttons, and they're flying through with their algorithms. I go and I'm old school. So like when I was learning the computer when we were young, when we were learning how to use the home keys, right?
Yeah.
And then we watched like our grandparents type, they hunted and pecked, or whatever it was called. I think it was called hunt and peckers.
Yeah.
Yes. And now I think there's people like young kids that have saw me of how I worked Excel spreadsheet. They'd be like, look at this clown doing Excel. Because I'm literally taking the mouse, I'm manually dragging each column, putting in the group, and then going one number by number. But I did my first sheet the other day, and I sent it out to the group, like, check this out.
Like, how proud are you?
Like, who got this done? And so now I texted our Bantam coordinator. I was like, hey, you want me to do the Excel sheet today? Hoping.
So what's it like now? Like, what's the process like? Do you have, it's like a player has 20 different scores from 1 to 10?
Yeah, so what we did this year is usually the Bantams, they have a skills day, so it's like, probably different than the squirt skills, right?
Yep.
So they each get a score for a skill, but we eliminated the skills day this year, and we went right into scrimmages day one, boom, right into it. So we had...
What was the reasoning there?
Bantams, they're at an age where skills day is kind of a waste a little bit. You can.
They're all skilled.
At that age, they can all skate, power turn around a cone. They can stop and start. They can catch a pass and receive it.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was you're getting more out of scrimmages at that age. So you can jump right into it. And we started with right around about 100 kids. So I think we started with 8 teams and slowly work your way down. And I hate the word cut too. It's unfortunate because like word gets tossed around like. Especially at the squirt level, you got kids that are 9 and 10 years old, and it's like, yeah, you got cut. It's like, I mean, No, he got placed. He got placed on the right team. You know, you never get cut until, like me and Ryan, it's your last day of playing pro hockey. They're like, we don't need you anymore. You are cut. You know? And that's when you finally get cut, was when your career's over. I mean, it's not at 9 years old when you're getting put on a B1, B2, or C team. You're getting placed on it.
It's like I saw the headline on the news today said, Europe retains Ryder Cup. And I was like, I like that. They did win it technically, but they were using, so you could say like your son was retained to the B team.
Mm-hmm. So and you know why they say retain?
Yeah, because they won it last time. But
and they also only need 14 points. The U.S. has to actually beat them. If they tie.
But I think they got 15, so I think they technically won it.
Yeah.
But it was a nice American headline, like, just retain the cup.
Like Europe had to only get 14 points. The U.S. had to get 14 and a half.
And you had the one guy sick, which made it even weirder.
Because they split that point.
Automatic split.
Which is
that's dirty. They
rule.
could just all be sick on the final day and they win.
They could have had pink eye like the Wild, and half the groups didn't go out, and they would have secured the 2.5 points they needed and won it.
Full-blown pink eye.
But they celebrated extra hard when, who was it playing Henley? Who was it playing Russell Henley when Henley missed?
Lowry?
Yeah.
Lowry, the one that he was, they were giving it to the.
Well, that got them over that 14 point with the scratch, the early scratch.
That's right, yeah.
So I think that was like, okay, now we don't have to answer the questions after this.
No, that didn't get them over it. That tied it.
Okay, so then whoever Henley was playing, okay, then
that tied it.
That tie.
Yeah, because Henley. But for those of you that didn't follow the Ryder Cup, the U.S. stunk the first 2 days, 3-day event, and they climbed themselves or dug themselves a deep hole. Then on the final day, it's all singles matches, and the U.S. had to win, like, what was it?
It was 12-5 going into it because of the half points. It was 11.5, 4.5 going into.
Yeah.
So when they started the day, it was 12-5.
So the U.S. couldn't have points. They had to win them.
Yeah, they could
only
went
lose one. Boom, 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 and won a bunch.
10 out of 11.
So then all of a sudden on the board, there's 4 matches out there, and the U.S. is leading 3 of them. And Europe had to just tie one group to win the cup, the Ryder Cup. And Russell Henley was leading 18 going into it, and he just had to tie the hole with Lowry. He makes an unbelievable shot. He just leaves his putt short. Lowry makes his. They end up pushing that one. So then they tie. That secures the cup for Europe. But then later on, it was like probably Tyrell Hatton is the guy that tied his.
But that got him to 14, right?
That got them to 14.
So
Lowry got them to 14.
So they
retained.
If Hovland would have played and say he would have lost, that would have just got him to 13 and a half.
Yeah.
But then when they got that second one, they celebrated like extra hard. I think, like, okay, now we have officially, like, we've won it.
Now there's,
if they would have just ended up with 14, there would have been the whole argument of like,
right,
we got to take a look at this. Is this right? If someone's hurt or injured,
right,
we can't just give away half point on a.
Still probably an asterisk. I mean, if we're being honest, it's tough to tell who won.
But then they talked about Sirius XM radio. I was listening to it on the way into the rink. There was a guy talking about, well, maybe retaining it on the road is something that makes sense. Like in European soccer, a road goal is worth more than a home goal.
Yeah, it's true.
So for the Europe to come over to the U.S. just to get 14 points on the road to retain it is something that
European team, man, the way they do like the family aspect. I mean, I think hockey teams can learn from it. I don't know what they're doing, but they all just come together, their wives, their families. They live for it. They didn't really respond. I mean, Rory was getting into it with the crowd, but they were there on a business trip to win. They were dominating the first 6 holes every day. I mean, I don't know. There's something about that psychology of whatever Europe does in the Ryder Cup to just get in the gravy together like that. It's working.
I think getting the Guinness together instead of the gravy.
maybe getting some Guinness together. But they were, I don't know. I think we can learn from that. There's something in there about how they run that team.
And how they isolate illness. Because it was only Hovland that got ill, right?
I think it was hurt. Was it illness? It was
his
injury?
Neck. He couldn't move his neck. He woke up and couldn't move his neck. Probably from all of the duck sounds that people were making when he was teeing off and he snapping his head back and forth. But so the tryouts, just to go back, can you tell us where you're doing this, or is that private information?
It's private information. A lot of this information during tryouts is very, very private.
Yeah, how do you do it? Can people watch or they can't watch?
No watching. We got
how about scrimmages?
Outside scrimmage, parents have been allowed to come in for the outside scrimmage. Okay. But we do have trash bags over the windows in our rink so that you can't see them from the lobby. Yep.
That's awesome.
And then nobody in the rink?
Nobody in the rink other than the evaluators and the the president, the vice president, directors, coordinators.
And are you done yet? Have you made the final cuts?
No, we got one more night of Bantams this evening, and then we're into day 2 of the squirts. Wow. And then the girls will start up shortly after that.
And you're running it all.
No, I'm not. No, I'm
just the Bantams.
Yeah, Bantams and squirts. Okay. Yeah. So it's hockey season's getting going, just like what the Wild have going on.
Mercury's in retrograde right now.
Oh, you're gonna
right now.
There's gonna be some all across the state of hockey. There is some stuff that's gonna happen.
What's amazing is how like a week after everything is smooth again.
Yeah,
like it's like it just goes back to normal. But it's like this 3-week period where things just get bananas.
The 24-hour rule is not in effect. There's a lot of voicemails being left, a lot of 600-word emails being sent. I mean, this is not your best. This is going to be tough for some people this next month.
Hey, so you're into ranching too now. So let's get it. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
So you built a house in the backyard for
a coop. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot that went into that. I mean, my wife, had the idea, came up with the blueprint. Her dad was a huge help in the building process because
of the coop.
Yeah. And brought in some heavy machinery to move some earth that we needed to move to flatten it out.
You're kind of like a foreman. You're not like the
yeah. I'll make some cuts and I'll use the power tools and stuff, but no, it took a lot of work, and it started with a vision, and now we have a dozen chickens running around the front yard, and it's funny to see. They're funny animals. They're funny to watch run because, obviously they have no arms, so they just come flying out with their 2 legs. But we have one every morning when we open the coop door. We got a spot in the coop where they should lay, right? Like 5 laying areas, where you should just lift it up and grab the eggs out of there. And 2 of our chickens lay them in our planters, our flower planters that are empty. So we have one that as soon as that door opens, that thing just beelines right over to that.
Hurry up, I already had my morning coffee. Yeah. This egg's got to come out.
Right over that flower pot, and then it gives it crows or whatever it does, to make sure nothing's in that.
Yeah, like it scares whatever's in there off.
Yeah, to make sure nothing's in there. Jumps up on the ledge, and then you can hear it drop down almost like Super Mario Brothers into the tube, like you see it on the top and then doop, right into the thing. And then, 20 minutes later, you got an egg in there. And we usually keep them for when the kids get off the bus and they run around.
It's like Easter every day at your house.
They're putting them in the shirts. And yeah.
Walk us through these eggs quick. So he's got it. What'd you bring, a dozen?
I brought a dozen, yeah. I can break this in half, too, so I can send you home with a half dozen. But yeah, I and my wife would do so much better of a job than...
So there's
blue eggs.
There's blue, colors. Tiny blue ones.
I wish I could say these are from the Buff Orpington, and these are from Americanos.
Okay.
And I don't know. They all have names, which we heard that you shouldn't name your chickens because if you lose one to a hawk or a fox or a coyote.
It's too emotional.
Yeah, for the kids. But we haven't yet because we ended up with one rooster, which they say you might. They get sexed when they're at the when you pick them up at the store.
Yep.
So okay, you have a dozen female. And I remember running into a guy in the parking lot. He's like, how many chicks do you pick up? And I was like, we just got a dozen or whatever. And he's like, oh, sure you'll end up with 3 or 4 roosters. And I was like, really? You hear nightmare stories about them because they get really protective of the hens. And I was like, I doubt it will be good. And this guy's like, I got 36 last year and I ended up with 8 roosters. I was like, holy cow, we might end up with one. Jeez. And then as we were growing them, we grew them in a little bit smaller than this, one of those metal troughs like that you see at a farm. You got a heat lamp in there and some shavings and water and food and all that. And one definitely started getting bigger than the other. I'm like, gosh, that one might be a rooster. And sure enough, we got a rooster named Jelly Roll. And
because he's got a pair of pipes on him?
Yeah, Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll was big and... it's a fake name. Our kids named him all, but yeah, he does have a pair of pipes. That's good too, because he's crowing in the morning. Because, we're lucky. Our kids have to get up now. Well, lucky or unlucky, they have to get up at 6 a.m. now for school because our hours got shifted way earlier. But Jelly gets up in the morning. The coop is closer to our kid's bedroom, so once he starts going, it's
so you wake up
shine.
To a rooster crow.
Right now it's still dark, which is nice. But earlier in the summer, when the sun was coming out,
August, first week of August, you're waking up to
that. Yeah, right now it's still dark.
Yeah.
Well, are you doing any spreadsheet work with the eggs?
No, I'm staying away from Excel. No, my wife just does that. My wife just does that verbally. She'll announce, today we got 11 eggs. Okay. And I'm not in there hitting F9 controls.
Well, I was thinking it's an opportunity. You could color code it, and we had 2 blue ones in the box.
Well, we know where
Why are they blue? I don't know.
We know when the blue ones come. You have blue layers. Like
Blue layers?
It comes from a certain kind of
a
chicken.
certain kind of chicken lays only
Like a
blue
Tiffany
eggs.
chicken?
Yeah, see here, I'll crack this open. I'll show you right here. I'm just kidding.
The yolks are blue too.
I bet they taste amazing.
They do, and I'd love to send you home with 6. What I'll do is rip this in half.
Okay.
And like this one this might be a double yolk. We get a lot of double yolks.
Why do you think that's a double yolk? That weight of it?
It's just bigger.
That's
like,
one that came out of the planter.
Okay.
That one was in a rush. I mean, just look at the size difference. You know what I mean? Like,
This is great.
so I don't know why, but
You're a farmer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. There's a lot of people.
Have you lost any? To skunk or anything?
Chickens?
Yeah.
No. We had a hawk swoop down one day, but I don't know if Jelly Roll saved it or because Jelly Roll's getting to the point where he's starting to attack the kids a little bit when the kids turn their back. No, my boy gets him fired up a little bit and with a hockey stick, like get out of here, and then he'll turn his back, and then Jelly Roll's, he sees that and he starts flapping and he'll start attacking.
Can you tattoo Jelly Roll? Like a little ink on the neck or anything?
Like on the gobbler?
like a little, I mean, Jelly Roll has a lot of ink. You got to go full in on that.
Or just
I wish I had a picture.
You might have to like band its ankles or something, just so it has a little jewelry too.
What it's done in its past, its history.
Yeah.
Like Jelly.
Yeah, he definitely has a teardrop or two, for sure. Well, congrats on being a farmer.
Yeah, so I got a belt buckle at the fair. I just got to find the belt still. It takes a special belt. So I can wear that in my boots and stuff. So when like the UPS comes, I can.
So you can feel the part.
Yeah, I can look it.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes total sense.
And then when they ask, I got 12 chickens, man.
So, dude, you got a FanDuel, by the way. So Al's entering the broadcast world. Debut last night in the booth in the Chicago game. But FanDuel now, no tie for the broadcast crew. But it would be cool if you brought like a bolo tie in there because you're a rancher now. That makes total sense.
And I do have one. I do have a bolo tie. So
Is that how you say it? Is a bolo tie?
Bolo tie, yeah. Well, I had an American Hockey League coach that wore one all the time. Roy Sommer, who actually is the most winningest American Hockey League coach in history, wore a bolo tie a lot in cowboy boots on the bench. Yeah, it's got good flash. I mean, if you go to Dallas, I'll borrow it to you. I mean, Dallas is a perfect spot to wear it. I think you get away with it.
Yeah.
When the email came and said no ties, I thought it was like what the guys say in the locker room in preseason. Does
this mean
no ties? Like, let's not tie tonight.
Does this mean it's
know what I mean?
optional, like the NHL dress code changing, or they're telling you not to wear it? Can you wear one?
I think you can wear one.
Okay.
But I think my interpretation is absolutely you can wear one, but they probably want it to be uniform looking. So if you're wearing one, Anthony should wear one, and Kevin should wear one, and whoever's at the desk should wear one.
And how did you take that news? Because I would think doing it for a while, you almost feel that it's like your uniform. Like you feel like you're in game mode when you have the tie on? Or were you like, yes, this is the greatest thing ever, that you don't have to wear it?
Well, we talked about this on the podcast in Billy's Basement, where if you can just remove one decision from somebody for the day, it makes a difference. I'm excited about that. It's one less thing I have to worry about. It's like if you go on the road, let's say you go on like a 7-day road trip, you might bring like 3 suits. Otherwise, your suitcase is huge. So you kind of have to color coordinate your shirt with your tie and your suit, and you really have to kind of figure this out. It's nice if you can kind of dial it in where it's just like shirt and tie. That'd be great.
So that's what you're going to do, just like a shirt and tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine going on?
Should we go turtleneck?
Well, we got a long trip after Christmas. Imagine if you had to pack like 6 or 7 suits.
Yeah. And then you got to bring all the right ties.
So the interpretation, we talked about that, the email. When it said no ties, I thought it meant like as players, like preseason, you're like, we don't need OT today,
Yeah, you thought it was just like a shootout?
No, I thought like when the FanDuel email came, like the sign off was no ties, like, okay, let's get out of here in regulation,
Yeah.
But
so it was like
we're not ending this game 3-3 and going to overtime and doing a shootout.
Yeah, we don't need extra work in preseason.
So I went on with my tie on, ready to go live, and Anthony didn't even say anything to me. It was Ricky calls. He goes, "Take your tie off, Al." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "We're not wearing ties." And I was like, "I thought you meant no ties in the game."
Oh.
And Anthony didn't have his on. He didn't be like, "Hey, take your tie off."
The game's tied and you just walk out of the booth. I read the email.
Well, see you later.
That's funny.
How was it first day in the booth?
It was good. I mean, I was lucky last year to get some reps with radio.
Yeah.
With the San Jose Sharks organization, and then to get some pre and post work here. It was that helped a lot. Just getting like comfortable with the mic and hearing your own voice. When you're talking about something.
Yeah.
Getting over that hurdle, and then
the camera being on
but pre and post you're on camera so much. Your face is on a lot more. Your voice is obviously on the whole game, which it is what it is. But the dialogue, the whatever you want to call it, the in-ear headset stuff is something that
the
wording, the communication. It's not forecheck, back check, save the puck, stop the puck, play the puck. It's a whole different dialogue.
Do you think you get a little benefit being a goalie? Because whenever there's like
backup
goalie analyst people, they almost like they're like, well, tell us what happened with the goalie there, Al.
Yeah.
Like you got a specialty.
That spot I think helps. Yeah.
Yeah, you got that's a whole. You can just be like, well, Anthony,
every goal that
as
goes
a
in, you're a
goalie-
part of it. You know what I mean? You're a part of it. Where forwards can kind of check out on that play. They don't see their number on the video.
I had my
D, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, okay, I'm good. I'm not in this one." We're a goalie. We're in every single one. But I do think being a backup a lot of nights too. I had a front row seat to seeing the play, and I could actually, watch it develop. Where if you're in net and you're in the game, you're focused obviously on the puck, and you don't have the ability to watch what's going on away from the puck, what led to the goal. And then you're on the bench too, and forwards come off and D come off, and they're talking to the coach, and the coach is telling them what went on there or what you need to see, and then player-to-player dialogue too. And like, dude, you got to help me out there and spread out, or an old guy, a veteran helping a young guy, whatever it is. It's just you're just on the bench, you're just another set of years on the bench. You get to.
You should embrace that. Just wear gear and have like a backwards baseball hat on.
Up top.
Yeah, up top.
Well, it's no ties now.
E-bug.
It doesn't say no gear.
You could be the e-bug.
No, that I don't know if I have any gear left. I give all my gear away.
I have a set of it. You can have it back.
No, I don't want it back.
Yeah, because I tried playing goal once. A couple times this last winter. It's awful.
Yeah, it's everybody. Like we had the fan fest the other day, and some kids are like, "Oh, I'm a goalie," and I'm like, "Oh, sorry." We do need more goalies in the youth association. We're trying to get that though.
What's it?
Great position.
Yeah, you just got to buy them their gear.
Yeah,
Cool equipment.
that's what
That's the reason they start.
paint jobs. And,
That's maybe how you motivate. We'll paint your first helmet.
right of your choice.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea, actually.
But I've always thought goalies, and there are good analyst goalies like Panger, Boucher. There's probably a handful more that I'm blanking.
Stalock.
Anaheim.
Yeah, Hayward,
Yeah.
Brian.
And who does pre and post for them? Guy Bear?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
But in general, I think goalies are good because, think about what they do throughout the course of the game. They sit in the net and call it 99% of the game. We'll call it 95% of the game is out in front of them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they're watching all of it, and then they've got nobody to talk to, so they're just figuring it out in their head. We're just like, oh, that was a good play. Oh, that was how do you stay entertained back there?
Yeah. Just like that. Just like that. No, I mean you do. You watch so much of the game.
I can't imagine what it'd be like playing an entire hockey game and not having anybody to talk to. You can't go to the bench, you see something funny, there's nobody to say anything to.
You talk to yourself, right? What's the percent of goalies that? So it's like if
Hey, what's up, Al?
just that say
I would do
stuff
that.
out loud.
do that.
Do you speak out loud even though you're not talking to anyone? Did you do that? I think that's.
I'd sing along sometimes when the songs would come on.
Okay. But you think talking's too much? That would be like something's wrong.
When the play was in the zone, I did talk a lot, as far as communication.
To the
I
other
was a big
players.
talker. No, I didn't. No, I never really chirped other players that much. I kind of knew my role. I knew where I was. What am I going to chirp? But I knew when the play was in the zone, when I was in the game and engaged and was feeling good, I was talking a lot. And if it got into late into the first period, and I feel like I haven't said much and helping out in the D zone, I felt like, gosh, I'm not there tonight. I don't have it. And then I'd just leave and let the other goalie come and play.
What did you think of Flowers? I guess his swan song in Pittsburgh and all of that going down where he got.
I don't know if that's going to be it, is it?
I don't know.
It doesn't seem like it.
It just doesn't feel like that's it. Obviously it was incredible to go in and you asked, were they shooting on him? Yeah, they were shooting on him.
That was real.
Yeah, that was real. And he made a glove save earlier where it was clean and didn't fumble at all. I was like, geez, that was pretty incredible. And then he went in the shootout. Like.
Should we get you in a game in a period for this preseason? See if we can do that.
No, my face would be so red. My face would be so red. It would be no, it wouldn't be good. I mean, even taking the dog for the walk when I go uphill, I'm huffing and puffing a little bit. It's a different conditioning. I don't know how. Granted, he's only a couple months out, but still, it's a whole different level.
You think he used old pads, or is that like a brand new set?
I think they were brand new.
That's what I thought too.
They looked, yeah. I think they were brand new paint job.
So you think he went in for a couple practices and then?
They showed a video of him practicing with those guys and screwing around, so maybe a practice or two. But I don't know if he was skating here or did some beauty league or did some of the skates with these guys in the summer if they needed goalies. But
and then
that's pretty incredible.
He went back in for the shootout?
Yeah. They kept him in, which they had a young kid.
So he did the third period.
He did the third period. They had a young kid, but, I mean, he was sitting for a period. You figure, hey, get some reps, But Flower stayed in. And before the third one, I don't know who scored it. They ended up scoring. Pittsburgh sent Crosby, Letang, and Malkin. And then Flower was doing, like, the push-up thing before the third guy went on the ice. And then when he got the puck, he got up and got into a stance, and then the kid ended up scoring. You could hear it on the mic. The mic picked it up. Before he even scored, Flower knew he was beat, and you could hear him like, oh, God dang it. And I think he was just hoping he didn't rip his groin.
And he got some pranks in, too, with the decals on everybody's car, the 29 car, Crosby's side door. It looked like some stripes on another guy's car. That's permanent stuff he's putting on their cars, right? Just full decals.
Yeah, I mean, it was just on Crosby's Range Rover, so, I mean, he can just go buy a new one, I suppose.
That's
right?
true.
So it was just a $100,000 prank.
He said he liked how it looked. He might keep it. Yeah, they asked him. He's like, I kind of like it. I might keep it.
Take off the 29 and keep
He's been wearing the same hat his whole career. He probably will.
That's funny. Yeah, no, he got a few of their cars, I think.
Should we get into some wild?
Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing. What did you think of the game? And now, is it just me, or has it felt like this has been a quiet camp? Without a ton of storylines. It's you've got Ogren and Hinostroza and Abe Ubel, or however I think is how you say that, and Pitlick,
Hunter.
Yeah,
Haight.
Hunter Haight, Leeson, a couple guys fighting for a spot, and the real battle seems like is Ogren or Johansson going to fill Zuki's spot in the top 6 to start the year. And not much has really changed. And then on the back end, it's how are the two young D? Is it Buyum and Jurček, and are they going to be able to do it? And other than that, it seems like it's been a fairly quiet training camp, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. And last night, the talking point in that game was the guys, the bubble guys. I don't know what you want to call them. I hate using that term, but guys that are fighting for spots or more minutes or whatever it be. It might be their last impression with the staff, because for sure that last game you're pretty NHL strong on your lineup, and I think it sounds like maybe it's 2 games that the Wild are planning on having a pretty close lineup to what they're going to open the season with. So you're running out of chances, and there's a few guys that I thought jumped out, and the game's getting to a point where speed's such a factor, and I thought Pitlick had a game where he did what he does best, and that's he hounds pucks, he's got speed, he finished checks. I mean, he obviously saw he's a beneficiary of the Haight goal. It was a good play by Lambos to flip that puck in the air, but, he took a hit to make a play and threw a backhand pass to the slot. And, Ogren, I think, is learning every year, comes into camp, and you learn something new every year, what you need to get better at, where you need to get stronger. But he made some plays. Obviously, you can see he's offensively gifted, but to be dependable and responsible in the D zone, I think, is probably something that the coaches are, excited about, that he's got the ability to win battles on the boards, and be accountable down in that area, and understand that you can play him in all situations. Versus, you don't want to say you're hiding a player, but, only giving him maybe an offensive zone draw here and there and not throwing him out in the D zone. It's, things like that.
The Ogren thing, it's interesting because he's getting a lot of hype in the preseason. There's a lot of people openly sharing high marks, whether it's how he did in practice or a scrimmage. And but when you watch the eye test and you just watch a game, he remains a little bit of a mystery to me. He doesn't flash like to a normal fan. So is he a guy that projects out like a Eriksson Ek?
I was just going to say almost like an Eriksson Ek early in his career.
Yeah, because when I used to watch Eriksson Ek when he was young, I was like, what? Walls would be talking about how he was better than Besser and on the broadcast, and I'd be thinking, like, what am I missing here? Besser's got all these goals, and Eck was kind of starting slower. And now, Eck's like an MVP of our team. When he's down, we're down. So is that what Ogren that's the type of player he is, 200 foot? And
Well, yeah, I think the sample size is still pretty small, of what – and it's like, does he know what he is going to be at this level? I think it takes time to figure out, like, okay, you know what? Kids that make the NHL, you're a star at some point, you know what I mean? And at every level, and you're not always going to be a goal scorer. Okay, maybe he's a third-line player, and it takes time to realize that. Like, okay, I really got to figure out the defensive side of the puck. That's how I'm going to play 10, 12 years in this league. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to score 30 every year. I could do that maybe in junior hockey. I could maybe do that in college or, in the American League, I was a borderline guy. But now if I want to play up here in this role, I got to commit to being defensive specialist. I'm going to get some penalty kill time. Yeah, 15 goals maybe, And I'm not saying that those are his numbers, but I'm just saying a player, he's got to realize, like, this is your role, and you can't fight it because I think you fight your role and you try being something you're not. That's when your time gets short. And you get moved on maybe from an organization or you're back to the American League and kids struggle figuring it out. Is buying into your spot, your system, your role on that team.
The other guy I love watching is Hinostroza. Like, I don't know what it is. He's just
he's a pro.
He's greasy.
And he knows what he is and what he isn't.
And he's greasy and he's fun. He is a difference maker. Like, when you watch a game, like, he is noticeable. And I think if you could find the right group with him, like, I feel like, isn't Hartman like his boy from way back? And like, why don't you put Hartman and Vinny there's something there where I think that guy could, pile in some stats, like a sneaky offensive player.
He's one of those guys that's like really good offensively and reliable and all the things, but just doesn't quite have it to be like your top 6 guy every single night. But I think he's a good plug and play there. Like, you're comfortable with him if you have an injury and somebody's out 2 months. He's the guy that you're like, yes, I'm glad we have him in our organization. Like, he's the perfect fit. But I think if you're going through the summer, you're like, I just don't know if he's the guy that can do it for an entire season. Mm-hmm. And then you say, okay, well, you put him in your bottom 6. Well, he's great in your bottom 6 too. But then what always starts to happen in your bottom 6, look across the league all the time. Everybody starts to think we're not big enough, we're not physical enough. Those are the 2 things that every team wants with their bottom 6. And if he's not going to be big and physical or kill penalties, they're like, well, we need to find somebody else. He's just one of those guys that maybe doesn't have a perfect spot on an NHL lineup or a roster, but super valuable because he can do so many different things for you. And he's good. He pops when he's on the ice, like, you notice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good skater. He opens his hips. He's good, like, one-on-one.
He can cross the blue line with it, make a play, go east-west.
Crafty little plays around the net. He's smart, like, knows when a goalie's not looking. He throws one at his feet, and he's a veteran. He's just – he has the ability, like – he'd be like a 13th forward one night. He's out of the lineup, and then the next night he's coming in. He's on the right side on the first line. You know what I mean?
But if you're comparing him to Ogren, now what Ogren will be is 2 steps faster on the forecheck, and maybe that's something that they want in their bottom 6. You know what I mean? Like you might not get an opportunity to turn that many plays in your bottom 6, and Hinostroza might be able to do that a little bit better than Ogren will. But they're like, I want this guy on that D as fast as humanly possible. Ogren's that guy. He's going to be straight line. He's going to put his head down, and he's going to get on that forecheck. And Hinostroza might too, but Ogren's just going to be a step or 2 faster. And when I think for a lot of us, when you're looking at the roster decisions of those guys that we discussed, we can't see it with the naked eye. They go through it with a fine-tooth comb to see like what they want. Did he finish the check? How did he finish the check? Where was his stick position in D zone on this play? And it's like those little things where they start to add up for an individual player, and they're like, that's the guy.
Well, that's what's going to be interesting is what is the composition of those lines? What do you want? Pitlick hits everything.
He's like a Hinostroza too. Yeah, he can
skilled.
Score.
He's skilled, but he also he really he trades paint.
Is he like that, or does he recognize that maybe that's a competitive advantage? I don't know if he's like that all the time. I think he might, because veteran guys understand certain things too. Coach will deliver a message, or management will, and they're like, I can do this.
I would guess he sees a lineup where there's not that many guys that do that. You know, Trennan does that. He did it in the playoffs. He was great in the preseason so far. But we don't have a lot of guys that are every chance to lay a body, you're going to take it. You're going to add up those hits, even in preseason, regular season. Marcus does it. You know, he'll run around and get guys. But it'll be interesting to see with the injuries, right, with Zuki out and, like, what are the lines? You know, do you have a line that's just a pain in the ass to play against? Do you have a third line that's really trying to contribute offensively? I don't know what the mix is going to be. I guess we're going to see it. Hines is kind of saying these last 2 preseason games, I'm going to roll out my opening day roster or as close as I can get to it. That's what he's told the media. So I guess we'll get some hints. He'll probably – the players that are going to move are going to be the guys we're talking about, right? You're going to see Ogren in a couple different places, maybe Pitlick, Vinny. They're moving them around, trying to figure out what they have.
Let's guess this right now. So you've got Rossi, Kaprizov, Boldy. You guys have any objections on that one? Mm-mm. You think that's a top line? I think that's a top line. The only question mark would be Rossi versus Ek, right? So then you go to second line. That's Johansson, Tarasenko, and that's where I think they put Eriksson Ek. That's why I think that's probably there. Mm-hmm. And then on the third line, you've got Hartman in the middle, and you probably have like Foligno and Trenyan.
So I would – how does it work? Would we be able to put Vinny with him?
Yeah, you could.
I would put Trennan on fourth line with like a Pitlick and maybe give them another. I guess it would be Ogren or something. I mean, what would you? I'm just trying to think. We need a line that's kind of like the old, I think we need an identity line somewhere.
And I think that's what that third line would be.
Okay, so
they just get more minutes. They get 14 versus 10.
Okay, and you had it who third line?
Hartman, Foligno, Trennan.
Yeah, because you got some bangers there.
And then they're like Trennan's fast.
Yep,
he's fast.
Yep, and Hartman can kind of run it offensively. And then fourth line, who did you have?
Well, Stern would be in the middle, and then I don't know from there. You know, that's where it's up in the air. Would you have Hinostroza? And then, one of the other guys that are competing for a spot. Is Yurov done enough? Ogren. I don't know if they'd want Ogren on the fourth line, but he could fit there. That's another one where you could go Ogren, Hartman, and Foligno or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then on the fourth line, you have Trennan, Sturm, and whomever else.
And it could be like a game-to-game thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you forget about Sturm because we haven't been seeing him, right? So that's a whole nother element that's there that we.
And he's going to play. We should get into that. Anything else on the top groups or that you think of there or that you want to discuss with the lines or what you're looking for? No. The other one before we move into the special teams, I do want to talk about penalty kill a little bit, and that's part of the reason why Sturm's going to, I think, matter. The D, like Bouillon. Really, the question mark is what? Bouillon, Juracek, and Lambos, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe Jack Johnson. And are they going to keep him? Because that depends on if Brodin is there. I think Jack Johnson, the game that I was working, he did enough to show that he is the veteran player that they wanted or that could fill that 7-8D spot. He still is that.
Yeah, he's a pro. Yeah. A little bit like Bogosian in preseason, just banging guys.
Yeah. So he still has it. He can still skate well enough. He still knows the game well enough, makes good plays. Like, he's not going to hurt you. He's not going to make mistakes that burn you. So if depending on how long Brodin is out, which sounds like it might not be as long as maybe they thought to start the season, the question mark will probably be is if they want to carry that many one-way D-men kind of thing, Mm-hmm. And then Bouillon, Juracek, are they ready? What did you see the other night?
I mean, it's just young defensemen figuring it out. It takes reps, and I just think back years ago breaking into pro hockey, and there's never just a rush to get a guy up into the NHL for defensemen, especially defensemen.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much. It's so much tougher to understand.
And you can't hide them. You can hide a forward.
Yeah, you can hide a winger.
You can protect a winger.
You can send a winger up there that can score. A guy who can score, you put him up there. His job's to go out there and score goals. You're not so worried about the defensive zone. But with D, it's just it takes time to understand the game, and almost like a goalie. You talk about having the game in front of you. It's just like a D. You got a lot of the game in front of you, and you get away with stuff. You think back to junior college hockey, you can get away with stuff. Guys' sticks aren't as detailed. They're not as good. And, if you feel confident, you can walk a blue line or try to make that extra stick handle before you need to get rid of the puck. And it can only happen a few times before, you're sitting out or whatever it may be. And you got to learn on the fly. But does it hurt to get more games at a different level? No.
I think the question mark is,
it's like
it's not going to hurt those guys to go to the American League.
No,
I think it's what's best. We talked about this the last podcast with Kelleher. I was like, the 2003 draft is regarded as the best draft ever, and because of the 2004 lockout, those guys were in the American League. No questions asked. Right. There was no other place to play.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, those guys have become some of the best players. That was Parise, Vanek, Stahl. You go down the list, Fleury, yada yada yada. Everybody, right? Yeah. But the difference is they had to play in the American League. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say correlation is causation, but I would think that there's something correlated with that. And some of these guys playing in the American League wouldn't be the worst thing for them. Now, I think the question with a Bouillon and a Jiricek right now does the upside outweigh the downside? They're going to make mistakes on the ice that maybe result in the puck being in your own net. And you should expect that. Everybody, I think, expects that. And that's what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's harder for a D. You can't hide. This reads tough. These players are good.
Mm-hmm.
They're good. But is the upside there? And with Bouillon and Jiricek, the exciting part is maybe, Bouillon, if he can run a number one power play and it's elite and he gets some momentum, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think Zeev sees the American League. I mean, I think that kid is just he's bigger now. You talked about it on the broadcast last night. He's able to just angle someone to the wall now, which he wasn't doing last year in the small sample size or in college, where he can take a body and just end the play. Mm-hmm. He's that extra 15 pounds that he put on in the summer. I mean, I think for sure the upside is there for him, even if it's the classic, he made the two, the worst play of the game and the best play of the game.
Right.
You might get that with Zeev sometimes, but I think you're going to get those best plays. I don't know as much about Jiricek. He loves the offense. You can tell it's almost like he wishes he was a forward. But he's got the big body, right? So it's hard when it's like the big guy that wishes he wasn't big, that's kind of a different deal. But I don't know on that one. But he's also 21 years old. Is that what you guys said? I mean, these are young players, right? But I feel like Zeev in the right lineup, it's like better gets better. Like when he goes into that group and it is 97 on the power play with him, and I just think he's going to fit right in. And
who do you think Quinn? Or sorry, I just tipped my thought there. But who do you think the comparables are for a Bouillon in the NHL based on his skill set?
Well, I mean, watching him live for the first time last night, his feet are so good. He's such a good skater. I mean, he's got. I mean, you can't really put a ceiling on him.
He's got Quinn Hughes type of potential.
Yeah, I mean, he skates like him. You look at it because Quinn's a left-handed defenseman, and absolutely. I mean. And I think he feels like he has the ability to make that extra play or, the opportunity to, I'm going to try this play. You know what I mean? He's skilled. He's done it before. But he has that ability that he can make up ground when he's hounding somebody, on a back check.
Yeah.
He's never feels like he's in trouble, which is a trait you wish you could teach a lot of kids, to have that threshold where it feels like I'm never in trouble. I'm never in trouble.
Back to the Ryder Cup, you see the whoop on those guys sometimes. That was cool.
Yeah, they showed Luke Donald.
You could show the heart rate.
Yeah, they showed the coach before someone even teed off, and he was at 105 just standing there.
Yeah, that's sweet. But that's what you're talking about.
He's probably at 58 when he has the puck.
Last man back spinning.
Yeah.
Spinorama.
Yeah, his whoop would probably be high 50s.
Yeah, no problem.
This is fine.
Did you notice him at the very end of the game last night?
When he took the slap shot against the boards after they scored the empty net.
See that? I'm telling you, man, that's an intangible. Right. This guy, I always
he's feeling pressure, I think, too. But
he's
pissed. -6 in 2 games.
But he was pissed. And I don't know. I think he's
a couple of them are empty netters, and which stink.
Yeah, and that's what's frustrating. You're like, gosh.
Yeah. But you saw that like Faber will break a stick off of a crossbar at the end of a game we lose or so. I mean, I think there's a compete level. Where I like visibly seeing when, as a fan, I like seeing when a player is more upset about a loss than a fan, where they're,
But we got to remind our young listeners that a lot of these NHL kids don't pay for their sticks. So the younger listeners, it's not okay.
So kids in tryouts,
you don't need to break your sticks because it's Zeev and Brock are not paying for their sticks.
That's true.
Their parents still aren't paying for their sticks.
That's true.
Maybe the kids.
Thanks for that public
tryouts. Maybe the kids at tryouts get smart because there is no live barn. Parents can't be in there. They want a new twig.
They come walking
break
over.
This over the post. Broke it during practice today, Dad.
How'd you do tonight? Take a look. I got 2 broken sticks.
It was had this great one-timer, snapped it right in half. Wouldn't believe it.
Did just what Booyam did last night, Dad.
But back to Quinn Hughes. So, and the point I was making, where these guys, it takes a little bit of time to figure out. If you look at, and stats don't make a player, and
right,
and nobody's like apples for apples the same. But Quinn Hughes goes first year, 5 games played. Booyam played 2 last year.
Yep.
After 2 years college, like Booyam, and then his first full year, he was just under. He's probably like 0.75 points per game, -10. Next year, he was about the same, 0.75 points per game, -24. But then all of a sudden, it starts to turn. So it takes him almost 2 full years. Then it starts to turn. Then it's +10, +15, +38. He started to figure it out, and you can almost see it statistically.
And 0 American League.
0 American League.
0.
Yeah, but that's the ramp that Booyam could be on.
And I also think the psyche of a player like Zeev too. He's not going down 35 to Iowa. I wouldn't. I would keep him in there, make him comfortable, say, hey, we're not playing the long game with you. We know you're a stud. What you just shared on Quinn is actually awesome. This guy was a minus player for a couple years. Mm-hmm. He wasn't scoring quite the way he is. He marinated, and now he's a stud, right? And we think you can be the same. So, I don't know. I worry sometimes about some of these top-end guys. I don't know. I just say they get different rules, I think.
Well, I think you think about it, too. Well, what if he goes out and he plays these preseason games? He just sits back, doesn't take any chances. Yeah, he gets the red line, chips it in, and just goes, gets in the blue line, backs out, and now you have coaches telling you got to go. We want you to go. We want you to go.
I said that. Do you remember? Oh, gosh. So the game we played.
Pull back.
I don't remember the goal scorer from Dallas. It was probably Wyatt Johnson. I think he scored both the goals that game. But Booyam tried a spin around at the blue line. Not like a spin around, but he tried to turn out of it. And it got poked off his stick, and then it was like a 2-on-1 the other way, and Dallas scores. But it was Booyam that made the play at the blue line to turn it over. And on the broadcast, I was like, this is actually great that this happens here. At no point do you want to turn the puck over in that spot, but he gets to learn at the NHL level out there against one of their best guys in Wyatt Johnson. This is what happens. And you don't want to say you can't make that play. What you have to say is you've got to make that play. That's the difference now. This is the difference. You've got to put that puck right on the blue line so that he can't reach it and poke it off of you versus just get it close to your body or something. I know it's hard to describe verbally, but I felt when I was saying that some people might be like, this guy's just a nerd. But it's true. It's actually good that he's making that mistake right now.
He's trying it. He feels comfortable. There's a lot of guys that, obviously you got comfortable being able to play some games last year. He didn't know any better. You go from college hockey, you go right into the NHL, boom, this is how it's going to be. But that comfort level of getting to know the guys and coming up, they know what he does, and to be able to I'm going to try this, because a lot of guys are just going to chip the puck, and chip the puck and survive another day. Puck's not my problem anymore. Here, go take it.
I have a D question from last night. There were so many odd man breakaways, against to the point where I was just watching the game, going, "What is going on? How is this Nazar?" I mean, it's just so many breakaways, 2-on-0s, 1-on-0s. What is that? A defensive thing? Bad changes? What was going on last night, or is that like you said on the broadcast? with his speed, he can just float one off the wall, and he's going to be the first one to get it, and he's ahead of everybody. Because I was surprised how much,
breaks,
coming in front of the D, Chicago, and I know they got speed with Moore and Nazar, but I still was like, geez, this seems like a lot of breakdowns.
Well, there's a few things. I think one of them, when we just talked about with Zeev, is just
pinching.
No, not even pinching. Just cute plays. 5 feet inside the blue line or 5 feet outside the blue line. You turn pucks over there, it happens fast. And I think a lot of those chances happen in the second period. And every coach says it.
Yeah.
We got the long changes period. Let's be smart on our changes. And that takes time. As simple as that play is, realizing that your line's tired, you've been out there for a while. Hey, I should probably get the puck deep and change. Well, if you don't do that, now you're caught out there, you're playing tired in the D zone. Or if you come in and you try making a play, it's going the other way. And a lot of times that team might be changing. So you got fresh guys coming off the bench on a long change, and you know how forwards think, right? Skilled forwards, they don't want to hurry back to the defensive zone because, hey, maybe
the first man back.
Maybe the puck might get poked free, and if it gets poked free, I got a 2-on-1. So they're not hustling full speed. Well, the Wild take the puck just inside the blue line, it gets poked free. All of a sudden, these guys, their routes go the other way, 2-on-1. And I think you saw that with Bedard had a quick break, 2 on a breakaway. Yeah. He fanned on a little bit. It hit Gus in the chest. And but, yeah, there was 3 or 4 plays where just getting bottled up in the neutral zone, trying to get the puck into the zone, making cute little plays. And it happens so fast.
The other thing, Chicago's better and faster. But they also had young D pairs. So, trying to figure out gap, when to step. There was a couple that were miscommunication. Where, somebody's crossing the ice in the neutral zone, and the D move over, and then when the handoff should occur. These are little details that are important that you pick up in camp and throughout the first couple of weeks. What are the rules here? You don't get past the center dot, or I leave them to you at this point in time. And those things yesterday I think got exploited a little bit because it maybe hasn't been worked on or they don't know. But you get 2 young D against another team's top line. That's what those guys are looking for. They're trying to create those hard decisions and those change-offs, and they exploit them. And it happened a few times, I thought, yesterday. Kinger, anything changing at Cub Foods that you're aware of? Because it is fall, and I know you go from pub burgers to tailgate stuff to maybe even getting some spirits going on there.
Yeah, obviously Al has some high-quality eggs, but not everyone has a coop or someone else to build it for them. So I would go over to Cub and get a lot of your natural foods, whatever you need for fall. I'm a big fan of, go get some apples, get some caramel, get some milk, you could feel like a farmer. You could fill your basket at Cub and feel like a farmer. If you need the fall stuff, the chips, the dips, the beans, it's all there. Some of them have liquor stores. They do deliver. Shop happy at Cub.
And get your tailgate on.
Yeah, get your tailgate on. Also, what ad are you going to do?
Well, we'll start with our friends at Wild Construction. Winter's it's nearing. If you have any concerns about your roof or its ability to hold heat, have somebody from Wild Construction get out there, look at it. They can fix anything. There's still time before snow flies. Also, if you were within an area that had a hailstorm, don't hesitate to go to their website. They've got all the tools. It'll tell you when the storm was, if there was hail, how big the hail was, and then you can go back and give somebody a call, and they'll come out, jump on your roof, and make sure you're taken care of. It can take up to 12 months for some of this damage from these storms to show up too, so you've got some time, but hurry up. Winter is coming. wildconstruction.com. Check them out. And on the other side of that, make sure it's drinking good, clean water.
That's true. Do that.
Yeah, you've got to drink good quality, clean water. And our friends at Aquarius Home Services, they've got the Connecticut full water treatment system. And if you're like me, you have hard water. Actually, I just had tested PFAS in my water. It was a state that came out. And now they came back to test my RO system. They said, we think you're good. The state actually came to my house, said, you have PFAS in your water. We'll give you bottled water. And I was like, well, I have this Connecticut K5 reverse osmosis system. They're like, oh, perfect.
They were like, never mind.
They were like, never mind. We'll test it just to be sure, but you're going to be good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've also got the water softener, so the clothes feel soft and the skin, and you don't have to use as much soap, and the dishes come out clean. But yeah,
We tested positive for PFAS, so we have water getting delivered to us.
You're one of those?
Until our system gets installed. We have to get a system installed by the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, Queries Home Services. Al, you know who to call, my man.
Yeah, I do.
Earning the right to be recommended. I recommend. Give him a shout, my man.
Will do.
Well done.
Yeah, we nailed that. So penalty kill, we just have to address it because last year it was the Wild's Achilles heels at time, and it hasn't been great to start the preseason, and little details and guys being put in spots, and some of it's a test, but I do believe that special teams have momentum. And the Wild need to probably be super tight on the kill these next couple preseason games, especially if they have the big boy lineup in, because you don't want to be going into this into this season with a little doubt on the PK shoulders right now. Like, it'd be nice if they can be like, oh, we got, we're 6 for 6 over the last 2 games. Let's go. And that's against their best, because they gave up how many last game? For sure, Nazar's first goal was a PK goal again.
I think it was just one.
Just that one?
First one right away.
Yeah.
But
it was too easy a chance, too.
Yeah, it was just a shot. But, there was a chance at a clear, and that's what it comes down to. He was a young guy that had a chance to get a clear, and it didn't get out, and, Bertuzzi keeps it in. But
when the game I worked, too, Hines has been talking about first face-off we have to win. And it makes sense. You're 5v4, and if your normal face-off percentage 5v5 is 48%, which has been something that's plagued the Wild, you figure 5-on-4. And I was always jealous of this because I was a PK face-off taker. It doesn't account for this. A third of the face-offs I'd take every game you'd be short a man. So the percentage on the other side should be much higher. It should switch to 60-40 is the expectation. But the Wild need to somehow get to 50-50 in that spot where they get to clear the puck a little bit more off that first face-off win. And it's an area that they've wanted to clean up, and it hasn't materialized yet. But they haven't had Eriksson out there taking the draws.
Sturm.
Yeah. Or Sturm taking the draws. Sturm was 60%.
Sturm's a really good draw, centerman. And it's... And then they got to re-enter the zone. And I saw the special teams practice the other day, and there was 2 key things that just kept getting yelled from the bench. And I'm pretty sure it was Hines' voice. It was over at Grand Casino, so it was at the game rink, and there wasn't a ton of people in there, so it's hard to hear down ice level. But they were talking about staying tight in the neutral zone, not chasing. You talk about that token swing sometimes on a 1-4 checker going and it seems like they want to eliminate that and then really focusing on holding the blue line, not giving that blue line up. And after that first power play goal last night for Chicago, they did a really good job in the first period on their second power. They forced them to go off sides. You know what I mean? And I think that clip was, and I think I said it on air, that clip's going to be probably the first clip they're going to watch. I think today's a day off, but when they get into the rink, that clip for the special teams, it'll be on there. The 4 executed it perfectly. Chicago got to the blue line, and he had nothing. He had no play, And at that point, you got 5 guys coming on the line for Chicago. I think you just have to go offside. Otherwise, it's
I think Kills also have to understand that teams do not want to hard rim it anymore.
No, because
it used to be
you can play the puck.
Yeah, it used to be you could just you're out's the hard rim. They don't want to hard rim it anymore, so you can be more aggressive holding the blue. You don't have to be prepared to go back and retrieve this puck. nobody's soft chipping it or hard rimming it.
Right.
You know?
No, I agree. And that kept getting yelled during the practice, too. You hear Hines, hold, and just get him to stand. And, I mean, Bogosian's not going to have a problem doing that. He's been doing it his whole career. But I think it's the comfort level of those young D. Like, they feel like, I kind of have to pull back and cheat. Like, well, this guy's going to jump by me. But that's, you might have a forward coming back with speed that can fill that lane, and get to that puck. And, just trusting yourself to holding it is the right play versus, because if you back off, you're not doing exactly – what you need to is a group of four that's out there. You're opening up that spot because they want a ladder in. A forward wants to come in. It's almost like an option quarterback. His eyes are right on you, right? You go if you're backing off, he can skate and take the zone, right? And it's a hard skill play to make that backhand sauce to ladder it out to your wide guy.
Yeah,
so it's
and Boldy's going to be PK as well.
Yeah, they're talking about using some of the those more skilled guys on the penalty kill. Yeah, and it'll be interesting because. Billy was on the broadcast and he talked about that, where he thinks that it might help a power play guy to also kill penalties, and that's not taking anything away from a guy that doesn't play in the power play in terms of their ability to read a play, but just knowing what the opposition's looking for when a player's dragging you a certain way on purpose and why they're doing it. That's something that Boldy might understand. That will give him a competitive advantage on the kill, to have the stick in the right place, to know what's going on, and to know what the opposition's trying to do, and then just their ability to read plays, and think offensively. They're thinking, if I was in that spot, what would I do? So I think, and specifically, if we're talking about Boldy has unbelievable hand-eye coordination and a great stick. So he should be on the penalty kill. He's going to knock so many pucks down on seam plays and then end up getting clears. And I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start taking faceoffs too. He was a centerman until the last couple of years. He could take draws too.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. That's kind of what you were on the Lambos play, right? If you have those high skill guys with those little flips, getting it out of the zone, being comfortable taking the extra second to make sure it gets out. I think that's what they're betting on, right? By loading up some of those guys back there, so you have 2 chances to get it out and you don't get it out because they're just hammering it off the glass. To have somebody take a second and go, I'm good, I'll flip this thing out.
That's reps too, it seemed like the whole side of that ice was open. Bertuzzi made a hell of a play.
And he went high off the glass. It was like, this is getting out. And then he went over on the one leg and stopped it. But
I've had coaches in the past where when you're practicing penalty kill, I think back there's times get that puck 200. And it got to the point where guys were so pissed that every time they had a chance, it was literally a slap shot as hard as they could.
Right past your teammate's head.
And it was almost like a middle finger up at the coach. Is that good enough? Is that hard enough? But it gets to that point when the kill's not clicking. It's like
that's the pressure you don't want, though.
Yes,
especially early in the season. That's why I'm these next 2 games, man.
Everybody's talking about it.
Yes,
and then you take a penalty, and then it's all right. Here goes the kill.
It's PTSD. I have it already. It's like, oh no, this might be bad. Yeah, you got to get that momentum. It's all about momentum. Special teams, right? Just to have them feeling good going into the season.
Yeah.
Not like, oh no,
it's not even a thought in your head. Go and kill this and move on.
All right, Al, we got a trivia game kind of that we're figuring out, and we're trying to work the kinks out a little bit. So think Wild Players history, 25th anniversary. I'm going to give 6 clues on this. You start to think you know who the player is. You buzz in and say, you know who it is.
Should I hit your cough button?
Yeah, push my cough button. Are we going head-to-head then?
We're still working out the kinks. So, yeah, you 2 head-to-head probably right now.
Okay. So whenever we're ready to guess, we'll let you know.
Yes.
Slap raise a hand or Al?
All right. So there will be 6 questions. We'll just go with it. All right. First one.
Clue.
Canadian born.
A Canadian. Okay.
Clue 2. Drafted 7th to last.
Oh, that's close to Midzi, but not quite.
3. Played for Washington, Atlanta, Colorado, and 3 others.
Andrew Brunette.
Boom, he got it.
Wow. 7th to last in the whole draft?
That was back when how many rounds did they have then, too?
That might have been 9.
It should say on DB.
Yeah, I'll look at it. I think it was 9. Let me pull it up.
Let's see what the Brew Cat had going.
Well, what was the clue that gave it away?
The teams.
The last, I knew he was a low draft pick.
You knew he was a low draft pick?
And I think they had 12 rounds then, right?
I don't know if it was 12.
I want to say that.
What a career.
Oh, unbelievable.
Let that start. Man, that's awesome.
I'm looking at
Oh, it was 12. It was 11.
11 rounds?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was deep then. He went deep.
I don't have him 7th to last here, though.
Too bad they don't show the scouts' notes. I wonder if the
174th. That's not 7th.
What was one of the clues going to be scored last goal on on Patrick Waugh?
He wasn't 7th to last.
That's 7th. The giveable clue.
174th. He was not 7th to last, but you got that. That was if it was a 7-round draft. That's where that one came from.
So how many rounds were in this?
So you're right.
I feel like that
11 rounds.
An asterisk. That's a little bit like
it's kind of like the Ryder
Cup with the sore neck.
Injury.
Yeah, because I had bad info. I was making decisions on bad information.
Well, we're working out the kinks. We talked about it. The kinks are getting worked out.
I was going down. Middleton was drafted last, so I was like, okay, I'm getting somewhere here.
It was
Canadian, but Middleton hasn't played in Washington.
Dude, you want to know who? Who gave me that question too? It's ChatGPT, and they were wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
But
that's based on the new rules because there's 7 rounds, so it says he's drafted 7th to last.
Have you?
There's 12 rounds then.
With tryouts?
ChatGPT didn't know that.
Are you using ChatGPT for tryouts at all?
Yeah,
like who should be on the score?
Yeah, between player 53 red and player 47 white, who do you see better?
Yeah, you should try it.
Yeah, and that'd be good for the email or phone call when the parent calls. What do you see? Well, ChatGPT thought, player 47.
Hey, I had a couple things on my notes here towards the end. What do you guys make of the new jerseys, with the metallic gold, the kind of the reissue? We had I thought it was pretty cool. They went over to the Gopher Bar and took those pictures of the guys sitting in the stools. It did have that vibe. It sort of felt Bloody Mary and pull tab, something about those jerseys. But what do you make of that? It's an interesting era because it's sort of like you got the 2003, like all of the emotions of that brunette included. And then this is kind of it's more in the middle, but I'm just curious what you think of the jerseys that they're going to pull out for the 25th season.
I think they're sweet. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think back then when they were like the jersey, I think that you'd hear from a lot of people like how ugly they were,
There's a lot going on.
Back in the day.
Yeah, like, God, those are,
But now it's almost like the hats the young kids are wearing with like the giant font that were, back in the day, maybe too much, like the Emmitt Smith era. But I don't know, they look kind of awesome.
Yeah, no, I think so. They got the glitter on them. And I was at FanFest this weekend. They were for sale already in the team store, and a lot of kids were walking around with those things on. So
yeah, I think the kids will love them. It's
The
got
new
that,
jerseys.
Yeah, it's got that vintage.
I'm curious to see how many new jerseys, if I can tell the difference right off the bat versus the 2003 jerseys, because I think a lot of those will just come back out of the closet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gabricks,
Yeah.
Parks.
Yeah, 25th, right? You can get away with
Bouchards.
anything. So 2 pro on the new jerseys,
I
the
think
old
so.
new jerseys.
That was a good photo shoot with those guys on the release, though, sitting at the
Yeah,
bar.
great.
Like they went Gopher Bar too.
Whoever decided
it
to
fit
do
the
that.
era. Everything looked.
It was very
Yeah, they
supper
looked early
club.
2000s.
Supper club, kind of like maybe we just killed a deer. Yeah, that was good. They had the right guys in there too, I think, sitting on the stool. Has there been any Kirill updates? Do we have anything that we can talk about? I can tell you what my algorithm's doing, but anything?
Meaning, like when you open up your social, or what do you mean your
Yeah,
algorithm?
I basically am being bullied by the internet. So usually if I go on Instagram, there's another podcast talking about the teams that could take on his $9 million salary for one season and trade something and, win a cup, or, somebody's tampering,
That's
and
clickbait.
there's a lot of like Photoshop images of him and other people's jerseys. So it's pretty relentless, but anything, any updates, anything happening? It doesn't matter. Time is on our side. That's what you told me.
Time is on his side.
Time is on his side, so just roll with it. Nothing?
I don't know that there are any updates. We had Billy in the broadcast booth and asked him if it was a distraction or if he felt it was a distraction for the team, because I think that's entering the equation now. Is this contract and it not being signed and it being a storyline, is it going to become a distraction and a weight to the rest of the team to start the season? Part of the reason where it's been a quiet camp, you could make the argument that the story is Kirill signing. It's not camp has been hard. We feel great. This guy's buzzing. Everybody's, on the same page. They're ripping through games. Some of it might be because the stories have been Kaprizov, right?
Yep.
And is it a distraction? And Billy was quick to say, no, like it's a pro. And I think, Al, you can touch on this a little bit, but I don't think anybody in the locker room is ever going to hold it against another player for their needing to use the business side of the game when they can, if that,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they know how. I mean, they obviously know how important he is of a player. He is to that group. You know what I mean? And players go through it. Everybody goes through it. You get a chance to make yourself worth. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, you want to make a deal friendly for the team so you can get guys around you, but you get one chance to sign.
But those dudes have so much. They have it so much different than even I think we could understand. He has the ability to sign an 8-year deal. Or
Right, yeah.
I have no clue what that would even be like.
Right? Yeah. No.
To be like, I'm going to be here 8 more years. I have no clue what would go through a guy's head when it comes to that. But what I can imagine is him saying, like, I'm committing the rest of my playing days to one spot. And that all of a sudden becomes a big decision. So now it's not just money. Is this where I'm going to be for my entire playing time? Is the situation set up? Because you are committing to the entire organization. You're not just committing to a contract,
right.
Are they set up to win? Can they win for 8 years? Like, I only have 8 years to win, which sounds like a long time, but after you're done playing and you've played for a handful, you're like, that goes really fast,
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's part of the equation or not, but you can see where that would weigh on him, and that's where I don't think players that go through something like that, like in the locker room with the Wild, are saying, like, this is a distraction. I can't believe he's not signing, or hold it against him. I just don't think that that's going to happen.
Yeah, and there's also the side of that it could be the details of it that we've never been a part of.
Yeah.
The structuring of the contract, because you see around the league, GMs are getting so creative at these big deals.
And smart, like there's a lockout potentially in 2030, so I want 16.5 bonus and league minimum in that year so that I don't get,
So they're getting so creative and moving money around into just signing bonuses and their salary so low or whatever it may be, and what year's a no-trade clause or what year's a limited no-trade clause. All that stuff goes into that. It's not just
dollars.
a league minimum deal for 1 year that's like, sign it and this is, you know what I mean?
We can get rid of you if we want.
That one you can sit on for 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
You can't let the ink dry on the paper before you sign it.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting as the season starts, right? Because if he snaps off 20 points in 10 games, that'll feel weird for the fan base. If he starts slow, which he has,
That's the
some
fear.
years, he has started slow in some years. Where that's another thing where all of a sudden, he's starting slow for 15 games, and people are going, 16. So that's where it gets weird. I think right when you get into regular season, these first 10, 20 games, if he's on a heater like he was last year, that gets so
let's say let's go
that
through
gets
this.
stressful
For you.
Oh yeah.
So if he's on a heater, you'd rather him not be on a heater than panic sign.
No, I want him to be on a heater. I'm just saying I will have to cope with that in my own way. What I don't know what that will be, but yeah, I want success. I want the Wild to win the Cup. All the things we're here to do, but I think it starts to feel funny. Like, oh my God, he's the best player in the NHL, and we didn't sign him yet. Like, that starts to feel.
How quick will fans be like, get him to 19 million?
If Beyonce put a ring on it, I don't know, man. It's different once we're live ammo. It's different. So I don't know. I'll feel a lot more comfortable when, even if it's a short-term deal, just get the NHL store guy locked down.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else? Did we miss anything?
We didn't talk about
Pink Eye.
the 6-7 celly, which now we're all well versed in.
Very well.
Yeah, it's a pretty good celly. So
Did we talk Pink Eye though? 6-7 celly.
Pink
Anything
eye,
else?
There's pink eye going through the team, supposedly. That's a upper body injury. Is that what we call that?
Upper facial.
I think it goes from the lower to the upper, maybe. But the 6-7 celly, if you're old and you don't want to spend 30 minutes trying to figure out what it is, not saying we did that. It's kind of nice. You saw Nazar do it. You just kind of like move your hands a little bit. Looks like a video game celly a little bit, like a character that's kind of between 6 and 7. It means nothing apparently. Skrillex song. I don't know what's happening, but it's a thing.
It's a real thing. Obviously, it's getting
like,
brought up, and we talked about it before the show. And Mason McTavish in Anaheim signed for six years at $7 million.
He signed a 6-7 deal,
right,
just to be a leader in the clubhouse. So yeah, if your kids are walking around with their hands kind of like they're juggling without balls, then they're probably 6-7. So you're welcome. Just talk about that at work today.
So do we know what it actually means? Like when somebody says 6-7,
it means nothing.
But it has to mean something.
It doesn't really mean anything. It means
Does it mean like more or less? Like, so what? Like, meh.
There's another one too. Isn't it like 4-1?
I don't know. I can only do one at a time.
There's a new one now. There's a 6-7. There's like a 4-1 too.
Please.
I suppose we'll get on that next year.
Yeah.
Those are more of the deals that that was even steeper for me. 4 years at $1 million.
Yeah.
Not the 6 years at 7. So
Yeah, so that's happening.
Hey,
there's the 4 at 1.
international games diseased for Minnesota sports?
The turf is wet and slippery, obviously.
That was terrible over there.
Yeah. Yeah. They did everything they could to lose the game until like the last quarter.
Yeah, it was very similar to the Ryder Cup. I think the football game was identical to the Ryder Cup.
Just give up too big of a lead early.
Terrible start. And then all of a sudden, when you literally, it's like over, you're like, wait a minute. What's going on over here?
That's exactly how the Chicago game went for them,
yeah, you know.
where it was terrible.
Yeah, awful. No points in the first 3 quarters.
Right.
Yeah, nothing. Or maybe a field goal.
Too little, too late. But, yeah, they almost pulled it out. Same as the U.S. and the Ryder Cup. I mean, it was like it got relevant those last few minutes, but then the pick and it was over. But
The play management in the Vikings-Steelers game was really weird on both sides. Like, Tomlin, I couldn't believe what he was doing. Like, 4th and inches, didn't go for it, and then the punt,
Punted in the end zone.
punted in the end zone. I'm like, hold on a second. Like, what is going on here? We got a minute 10 at the 20 or whatever it was. And
we got another game in Europe, by the way. So if we're diseased,
That's what I mean. So
they're staying
if you
over.
recall,
Cleveland's like, you can't lose that game. I mean,
if you recall the last time the Wild played international games,
we tied one and lost one. Maybe Toronto, Ottawa.
yeah, I think lost both in OT, and then I think we lost our coach like a couple days after.
Yeah, so steer clear of the other
International
continent.
games.
Yeah, let's keep it home.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's a good warning. I don't know that there's anything on the horizon yet, but I think we'll just hard pass. No, we're staying in America.
can't lose to Cleveland.
Hard pass. Or start doing something lucky for Team USA when they go overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your routines are. All right, Al, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Rancher, broadcaster,
I'll break them in half.
Egg maker.
Excel master.
Do I have to refrigerate those? Like,
Well, yeah, so
Look at how he tears that box right there.
so I have to take that out of my car when I go to the office and bring it into the fridge.
So it comes with, I don't know what it is. Like when they lay the egg, there's like a protective film on the outside of the eggs.
Okay.
And so you could leave them out on your counter with that on there.
Okay.
I think it's for like a couple weeks. They stay good.
Maybe not.
But what I do is
not inside of a 400 and
these-
85-degree heat, probably
What
not.
happens if that rooster drops a little something on there?
See, I haven't done my homework on that.
That's how you get pink eye.
But these are washed. We got this egg washed. They're washed, and now you can go throw them in the fridge.
Did I get a blue one though? Oh, I want a blue one too.
Okay.
Trade. Is that okay with you, Carts?
Yeah.
He's giving you the double yolk for a blue.
I feel like
Whoa.
Yeah, give me that double yolk. I want a double yolk.
No. I got double yolk. And you make honey. You already have stuff like this.
See, that's why we wanted to be. So now we have this, and my wife's doing sourdough or like.
God, you're like
Homestead.
pioneer, man.
I want feedback on them though. See, we even got our own stamp.
Okay, I'll give you
Stalock-
feedback.
Stalock Farms.
We'll eat them this week.
You got a stamp on there?
Laid with love.
That's your tagline?
Laid with love and fresh, happy eggs.
Laid with love.
Laid with love.
That seems like
No, like 6, 7.
that seems problematic in some way. All right,
We're here.
till it's here.